Hey everyone, I have a box and I am shaking it. So what I would like to do in this video is review a little tripod that I've bought. And I've bought a lot of tripods over the years. They're not always the most exciting things to review, but when you're recording videos or taking photos, it is an essential item. I've got a few different tripods. I've got lots of kind of little smaller portable ones. This is the one I normally use when I'm recording videos with my phone. But yeah, I've got lots of miscellaneous tripods lying about the place. In addition to the one that I'm recording with right now. When it comes to the larger tripods, this is my biggest one. This is like a large video tripod. This one will outlive me. This thing is solid. You can probably hear it. That's a very solid one, but it's kind of too big and bulky for many situations. Downstairs, I use this one occasionally. This one is kind of cheap, and you can probably see that from the ball head. I mean, or lack of ball head. It's just got a very basic head, and this thing is always one fall away from breaking. You know, a lot of people, you know, they really do crap on basic tripods like this because they say, well, you know, you buy cheap, you buy twice and things like that. You can pick up things like this for like £20 or so in the UK. You know, the one that I'm using for my, for this video right now is like £80 and it's very small. It's all aluminium and titanium and all that kind of thing. But this one is plastic, it's cheap. But what I will say about this is that if you do look after it and you don't, you know, you're not going outside and you're not bashing around, something like this is actually not too bad. And I do like the clasp system of legs. Now, as I said there, you can see that the head there is pretty poor. Now, this one here, you can see this one uses the kind of twist method, and I will be very upfront about this. I hate this method of securing the legs. Well, I don't know if it's just this particular tripod, but when you're using this, your hands get all red when you're twisting them secure. I just don't think it's user friendly, and perhaps a bigger problem is that one of them won't twist now. So you can see here that I'm using this for my overhead camera. I used to use like a boom arm for that, but it was too shaky, so I've been using a tripod to take my overhead shots. But because of this leg is like this, I'm finding that I kind of need to position it at really funny angles to get the shot, and it's been annoying me for a while. So I have bought a replacement, and essentially it is identical to this. The main difference being that it doesn't have those twisted legs, it has the clasp legs like this. Sounds like a simple change, but it will hopefully make it easier to set it up. It will be more secure, and I don't have to worry about the legs not being secured in and out. Now, the one that I've picked up is the YoTilon 49-inch. These ones, you'll see them all rebranded in many different ways, and you know, most of the time, if they do look the same, just pick up the one that's cheaper on Amazon or eBay or whatever. And most of them use this type of tripod head. This head is very, very popular. I'm a big fan of it. I've got 2 or 3 of these now. You can pick these up individually for like £14 or something. And I've got one there. I've got this one. I've got another one lying about as well. But now that you know my situation, now that you know why I bought this, I'll get this open and then we'll have a look at it and we'll see what it's like. So this is how it comes. It's a nice little carry bag, kind of a generic one. There's no branding on it, which I have absolutely zero issues with because it's a little bag, it's a tripod bag, it doesn't need to be anything in particular. So let's get this out. So here it is. This is the YoTilon, and you can see this with the brand name there. 49-inch. Now, this is a little bit different than I thought it would be, but in a good way. This is really nice. This is very, very nice. Now, I'll bring up my other tripods to, just kind of draw some comparisons. I thought it was going to be a tripod around this size, but it is a lot smaller. Now, obviously, this isn't, pushed up just now. I haven't extended the legs, but one thing that kind of surprised me, I thought this was going to be a kind of mix of plastic and, the aluminium, whatever they use, but it seems to be mostly metal. It seems to be really, really secure. So as I said there, I'm a fan of these clasp legs. I do think that this is a much more practical way of extending the legs of a tripod. I think it's just much more practical. And if I can get it out here, I'm doing it in real time here just to show you what it's like. Not because I'm trying to waste your time. So there it's there. That's how you know, that's how much it extends. So wow, this is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. I really like this. The reason I like this is because the other one I've got here is a little bit, in fact, no, it's actually about the same size. I'm surprised by that. So I actually thought those were a different size there. So it seems to be the same size as the other, you know, one that I had here. But it's better built. It's a better build quality. Now it doesn't have the kind of poor head, the poor adapter at the top. It seems to be a little bit more secure, better build quality. But what's maybe not coming through in the camera is, you can see here, it's actually quite a small head. The tripod head at the top is actually quite small. So you've got the kind of fluid handle there for your videos, and then you've got your tripod L plate. But this one, the one that I'm normally using, this one is actually much bigger. It's quite a small version. It's actually the same size as the one that I've got in the little baby tripod that I use for vlogging. So let's see if this works as an overhead camera. So I now have the tripod set up in what you would call an overhead camera setup. Essentially the centre column is upside down, and it's allowed me to put my camera upside down like that. So I'm pretty happy with it for what I've paid. It's about £30, and I've got it set up as the same way as the other one. And you know, obviously I have the leg clasping system now rather than the locking system. I found that there's a little bit of flex here where, you know, between like 180 degrees to like there, it can move around. So just be aware of that, you know, the legs can't get too stable. There's a little bit of leeway there. When it gets past that stage, you can kind of pick your position and lock it a little bit more secure. Now, the legs don't go, you know, from 0 all the way up to 180 degrees. With many tripods and with the ones that I had previously, you can take the leg and you can put it directly up like that. And essentially what that allows you to do is change it from an overhead camera setup, upside down setup, to a regular tripod setup. Because essentially what you do is just flip the 3 legs around. Now, you can't do that with this. You really can't do that with this, because when you hold the legs up and you extend it, it gets to there and then it stops. So if you imagine the ball head was the other way around, you couldn't get the legs back to 180 degrees there because it gets stopped. So what you have to do instead is take the centre column, unscrew it, take it out and flip it. It's not a deal breaker. It's actually not even that much of an inconvenience, and arguably a little bit easier than flipping the legs. It's just a different way of doing it. But I'll show you this in more detail right now. What I'm going to do is take the camera down and I'll show you the tripod in more detail. Maybe give you a better impression of what this tripod is all about. So this is the tripod in an overhead camera setup with the centre column reversed, and you can see my messy computing area at the back there. In the box you get a product manual, and you can see here that it actually describes 4 different types of tripods, so it would have been better if it just showed you one. But it does give you a basic understanding of how it all works, which is, you know, useful for anyone that doesn't have any experience with tripods. You also get an Allen key, and that is for this area. So yeah, you get an Allen key as well. Now I've got the tripod sitting there just now, and it's actually lower than that one, but that's because I don't have the bottom legs extended. When that is fully extended, it will be the same height as that one. Now you can see here if I get a little bit closer, you can see here how this works. You've got the leg clasp there, and you just slide up and down and then you can clasp it. This centre column here is controlled with here, this little lock. So if I loosen it up, you can see it slides down. There is a little, if you can get there, a little water bubble there as well, just to see if you've got your alignment. Change the manual focus and you can see it there now. Obviously this is upside down right now, but this is here for weighting the tripod, so you could put a bag, a weight, sandbag, whatever. You've got your alignment part there. Now, as far as doing the legs, well, you can see you just pull that out and then you can pull the leg up, which I'm going to do one-handed like that. Works pretty well. So this is the actual plate that comes with it, and it's the same one that I've got with this one. It's the same one, which is why I didn't change it. But it's very easy to use. So I want to show you what this looks like with the tripod, the ball head at the top. So what you have to do is this. Bring this up. And then when you've got a clasp of it here, simply turn that. And this unscrews. So I've changed the centre column around. I now have it in a traditional tripod setup, I guess you could call it. And this is the ball head. And again, this one is smaller than the other one that I have. And this one is very popular. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can change this over if you want. And I can show you that just now. So that's me got the larger, heavier ball head on. Might give me a little bit more support. But it's good that you have that option. Very easy to change over. So this is the ball head. Works pretty well. As you can see, you just move it around and you go all the way down like that. When you get it to the position you want, you just lock it in. It's pretty good that they've got the video handle there as well. They've got the L plate, which you can slide in and out pretty easily. Pretty good how it all works. Now it is worth noting here, well, first size, as I said a few times, this is a little bit smaller than the other ones that you see in the market. Now at the bottom here, the tripod threads, this will screw in here, no problem. It will screw in no problem, and this will too. But bear in mind that this requires this little thread at the bottom. You can take this off. If this comes off, then this will not connect to the top there. So you do need to make sure that this part here is screwed on. And that's it, back on to the tripod. So I hope you've all enjoyed this look at the YoTilon 49-inch tripod. Is this the best tripod in the market? No, not by a long shot. But it's not fair to say that, because tripods are all released at different price points, and you can spend as little as 5 or 10 euros, dollars, pounds, wherever you live, or you can spend as much as several hundred. Tripods can be very, very expensive. And in my position, when I'm looking to always buy new cameras, new equipment, lighting, all these different things, sometimes I go out and I do buy something very expensive. This was way over 100. But sometimes it's overkill doing that because it simply isn't worth the money. At £30, this was quite an easy buy for me. It wasn't something that I spent a lot of time considering. I had a look at some different tripods. This looked pretty much identical to the one I had. It's not, smaller, but it looked identical to the one that I had, except it had the clasps rather than the screw mechanism, which I really don't like. Plus it came up as Amazon choice, and I thought, right, I'll buy it. One thing you probably not notice is that when the legs are down like this, and if you put the centre column down, if I get a centre column down, slide it down, this is actually quite a small tripod, and that's pretty cool. That's really, really cool, because the tripod that I'm using just now to record this, the one that my camera's on just now, it's a very small tripod, very portable, but it's actually at its maximum height, and it goes to like there. This allows me to kind of get the between that tripod size and the next tripod size. And you do find that when you own a few different tripods, they all cover different ranges. And the one that I'm recording with right now is really good for kind of macro shots, but this will take it from maybe a little bit higher than macro up to, well, up to kind of stomach level, I guess. Yeah, so I quite like the size of this. I like the fact that it goes pretty small. This is going to be handy for me because not only can I use it for overhead shots and I can switch around the center column fairly easily, but I can also use it on desks. And sometimes it's going to, you know, it's going to give me a position where sometimes I need to record at a level that maybe is, you know, not suitable for this one, or is maybe not suitable for that one. So for my tripod setup and for what I'm trying to do, this is a really good addition to my tripod range. And you know, I've now got about 4 of the, you know, the larger tripods. I've got a couple of tabletop tripods, and I've got some of the little micro ones, which are pretty much worthless if I'm honest. But what I would say is that at this price range, if you're looking for a tripod at this size that can apparently carry up to 5 kilograms of weight, but always take that with a pinch of salt, maybe go a little bit lower. If you're looking for a tripod at this range, at this price point, I think this is quite a good option. As I said earlier though, you know, on Amazon, on eBay, these things are always rebranded under many different names. So if you see this tripod and it's rebranded as something different and it's maybe a little bit cheaper, you might want to go for the cheaper option. But always check the reviews, check the description, and make sure you're getting the one that you want. As I said, it does have some limitations. The leg doesn't go all the way around, so you do have to change that center column. It's still a little bit plastic at some parts as well. You can see plastic around there. But for the price, you know, it's very good. I'm really pleased with it. And that's something you really have to take into consideration. You're really not going to compare something like this to something that costs hundreds of pounds. And you're not going to compare this to a carbon fibre one that's super light and super strong. This is a budget tripod, but at this price point, I think it's a very good one. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found the video useful, and I will speak to you all very soon. Take care.